Today on the channel, we finish up Legend Series 25 with the Rick Rude Chase Edition Sycho Sid variant, and we rank the entire wave from my least favorite to my favorite.
And the spirit of Ultimate Warrior will run forever!
Welcome everyone, Kyle here, back again with another set rankings and chase unboxings. In today's video, we're taking a look at the Target exclusive Legend Series 25 variant Sid, Sycho Sid that is, and of course the ravishing one, Ravishing Rick Rude Chase. And of course for all your WWE Legend needs, Target currently, but for everything else wrestling related, hit up Ringside Collectibles. Use discount code Kyle. Save yourself 10%. Got to get a deal out there. And Legends 25, we're going to wrap it all up, of course, in the back half where we will do the set rankings. So stay tuned to that. But we got to knock these two out first. Now, a little housekeeping here before we get into it and stuff. The Sycho Sid kind of came out of nowhere here, and I guess that's where we'll start. We'll start with this Sycho Sid chase. Now, I'm not going to read the card back. I'm not going to do all that kind of stuff. Check out the unboxing. I unboxed each one of these figures from Legends 25. See you later. Goodbye. I unboxed them on the channel already, so we already have the rigmarole of the whole unboxing going on. But I wanted to get this chase version. Now, this wasn't known until maybe 2 or 3 days after release date. Just one of those surprises, I guess, out there. A little extra fuel to the hunt, we'll call it maybe. I will say that I was not aware of this, and then I saw it somewhere on social media that, hey, there seems to be a variant to the Sid. There's a dark hair and a blonde hair. Now, what it seems like to me from getting online, I got a couple of versions of Sid for myself, my dad. I got a few different ones via the online option. There you go. It works pretty good for Target in this day and age. I got a few of those. Off to the side. See you later. It seems to be the dark-haired version comes with the online order, but then at store level, the blonde hair was there. Now, I'm just going off of early intel from my sights and sounds. I don't know about the sounds so much, but my sights from my toy hunts. I went to multiple Targets this week, and every Target had the blonde-haired Sid on the shelves. Online, though, was the only place I got the dark-haired from, so it could be online as later or earlier, depending. Obviously, the warehouses get something, the stores get something separate. I'm not exactly sure. It's going to take a few months, I think, to things dial out. However, what's going to happen, too, there might be some muddying of the waters because a lot of people do order them online and then take them back to stores. You might start seeing some dark hairs in the store, and it could have been an online return. So it will get a little bit muddy, but it'll be interesting, 6 months, a year from now, when the dust finally settles, which Sid will be the rarer of the two. And for a lot of people, they say, I don't really care. I just want a Sid in my collection. But it's up to you. Do you think of him with dark hair or blonder hair? This incarnation, easy for me to say. Now, I got both versions of Sid right here, so we can kind of see the difference between the two. For me personally, I think of him more as dark hair, but I don't know if either is wrong. A lot of times it is lighting, and sometimes Sid, just had dark hair, had blonde, and I think he went back and forth a few different times. So technically, I think I've seen pictures of Sid in this look with both hairdos. So it really is pick your poison. Which one do you prefer? But for me, I felt like I needed to get each version of these. I'm just a crazy man, wild man here, but it is definitely a true variant that is going around right now. So dark hair, blonde hair, choose your own Sid adventure. Wanted to call that out. That is something different, a little bit of extra challenge to the set completion here with the Sid Chase editions. But now we're diving into a true Chase edition in the old Rick Rude. Of course, what can you say about Ravishing Rick Rude? What? Oh yeah, you could say that. Where is his anchor tattoo on his arm? Oh, so disappointing. I know people were very disappointed he didn't get a robe with this one, but Mattel did say, hey, very intricate, tight designs. You get the new title belt. You got that going on. But I think I have to imagine the anchor tattoo missing is just a mistake on the factory, a mistake on Mattel's part. Very, very disappointing. And once again, we got to wait a little bit as these are not done shipping. Could we see round 2 Rick Rude's coming with a corrected tattoo on it? That would make things a little difficult. That would be a little shorter run, I would imagine, than these. And then it would actually add a little extra anxiety to Legends 25. You have the Rude with the tattoo, no tattoo, Chase with tattoo, Chase with no tattoo. Oh, it's going to be Basic Series 100 Shawn Michaels all over again. Check out that video where we dive deep into Basic 100, one of the most confusing sets of all time, full of conspiracy. Well, I don't know about that, but definitely check out that video on the channel if you did miss it. But let's dive into Rick Rude, and of course, we're going to take a look at the packaging. We're going to talk about it. We're going to unbox it. We're going to talk about it. We're going to see where it goes from there. A ravishing one, looking really good. WWE Legends, of course. Legends 25, ravishing Rick Rude. Mattel, 8 and up, usual packaging design. Ravishing Rick Rude over here, looking good. Ravishing Rick Rude looking good over here as well. And then on the back there, of course, showing the tattoo right on the arm, front and center. Just, man, what a miss. What a miss on that one. You got the tail of the tape over there. Cross-sell, we're reviewing the whole line, ranking the whole line here in today's video. Ravishing Rick Rude titles, WCW International World Heavyweight Champion, Intercontinental Champion, WCW United States Champion. Ravishing Rick Rude was one of the most impactful superstars in WCW during the early 90s, first aligning himself with Dangerous Alliance. Rude battled legends like Sting and Ricky the Dragon and the Steamboat. At Fall Brawl 1993, the Ravishing One defeated Ric Flair and became World Heavyweight Champion for the first time in his career. And Rick Rude, I talked about it in the original unboxing of this, really stepped it up another level when he went to WCW. Just felt like he was a way bigger star in WCW, but I think it was a smaller pond, a lot of that kind of stuff. He didn't have the Hulkster at the time. See you later, goodbye. We kind of know all that kind of stuff that was going on there. But, man, I loved Rick Rude. I love the Dangerous Alliance. I got to say, the Dangerous Alliance could be my top stable of all time. Obviously, it's probably the Horsemen just because of the longevity of the Horsemen. But, man, that Dangerous Alliance team was just unreal at the time. You had Larry Zbyszko coming off that AWA run. Obviously, Rick Rude having a big star power coming off his WWE run. You had Paul Heyman as the manager. You had Medusa. Beautiful Bobby Eaton. Tag team specialist was beautiful. Then, of course, the Enforcer Arn Anderson as a tag team. Two tag team legends forming a team together was really, really cool. Just a lot of fun during that Dangerous Alliance time. I really enjoyed it. See you later. Goodbye. I would love to see a new Zbyszko, a new Bobby Eaton. I guess a Bobby Eaton, not necessarily a new Bobby Eaton, but very, very fun time with the Dangerous Alliance. A lot of good childhood memories for me back in the day. Of course, the War Games match. Just absolutely love that time. And absolutely love the new WCW title belt, NWA title belt, international title belt, whatever you want to call it. Looking very, very nice. No Rick Rude nameplate on this one, but the jewels really popping against the gold. One of the most iconic belts of all time. I always go to the Winged Eagle first, and maybe even Intercontinental title after that. But this is a close second or third for me. Just a fabulous, fabulous belt. Always love that. Of course, love the original big gold belt as well. Some of the most iconic wrestling belts of all time, no doubt about it. And of course, Rick Rude, one of the most iconic wrestlers of all time. 2 Fists of Fury right out of the package here. We got the 2 splayed out hands, and then we got the 2 gripping hands. Now, I always talk about it in these Chase versions. You got to make them as different as possible. Rick Rude's got different tights from the last one, so there is differences there. But you got to go the extra mile, put different hands on them. Make them feel as different as possible. Maybe the belt's around the waist on one. Maybe it's over the shoulder on the other one. You got to do whatever you got to do to make it at least feel a little bit more different than it already is. So that's always my go-to thing with these variants. Or Chase editions, more like it. But we do get Rick Rude, of course, a little bit large in the head sculpt, but I don't hate this one. Rick Rude always had an amazing body. Oh, I would just stare at his body. But no, he had a very lean, muscular body, of course, Rick Rude. Just a man's man for sure. And he always kind of reminds you of like your tough uncle is what he always reminded me of as a kid. And I had an uncle that had a little tattoo. I don't think it was an anchor, but it was like Taz or something, I think, or Superman. I can't remember what it was, but kind of the tough uncle. And I'd try to arm wrestle him all the time. We'd get there. It was like over the top. And I was playing the Terry Funk role, of course. But it was like that. But he always seemed like a guy, your tough uncle. And of course, arm wrestler, fighter. He'd do it all, old Rick Rude. And unfortunately, his career ended way, way too short. Would have loved to seen if he could have wrestled in ECW back in the day. Would have been an all-timer on the microphone, in the ring, you name it. Could have been absolutely amazing, but what could have been? One of those ones, of course. But Rick Rude looks like Rick Rude in the head. Yes, it's a little large in the head, but still looks good. He's got that mustache you could set your watch to, no doubt about it. 2 eyes, 2 ears, nose, and a mouth. Kind of just a disgusted look, like he's going to call somebody a sweat hog is what it is. Maybe Barbarino and some of those guys, who knows? Maybe Mr. Cotter might get involved, who knows? Really date myself with those Nick at Night rerun references from when I was a kid. Whoa, 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 Mr. Cotter. Or was it, ooh, ooh, Mr. Cotter? Something like that. I used to watch that one as a kid. That and Taxi and all. Don't get me started. Don't get me started. But of course, the worst part of this figure here, missing the tattoo, of course, water slide decals, that whole thing that I don't do any of that stuff, could easily be appointed on there, but we shouldn't have to do it. I think we can all agree with that right there. Let's walk through the articulation first before we dive into the legs on this one. Arms all the way around for us, bicep cut, double jointed, pinless elbows, playing the hits, hands removable, of course. Ab crunch, nice and tight, a good ab crunch on this one. Waist articulation, oh, look at that. No Vietnam on this one here. Leg goes right up for us. Absolutely love that. How do we get back to that on all figures, Mattel? Man, we should be able to sit just like that if we want to. Love that there. Thigh cut, double jointed, pinless knees, smooth as butter. I know people complain all the time, but man, that is smooth as butter. I love that pinless joints on that, looking beautiful. Simply ravishing on the side of the boots. You got the boot cut, ankles, back, forth, side to side, up and down. Looking beautiful, this Rick Rude right here. Now, this is WCW United States Champion Rick Rude. So I would have loved to seen a WCW title belt with this one instead of this. That would have been a really cool way to make the chase feel different. Obviously, I think with the packaging and all that in the factory makes it a little bit more difficult to do, but would have been nice because it does look a little weird wearing WCW United States title tights and down here and then having a totally different belt. Is what it is, though. I guess you can't fight City Hall, and I guess you could give this to a different wrestler if you wanted to. Grab that U.S. title for somebody else, and you're in the game, I guess, at that point. It does say WCW United States Championship right on the front. Got a picture of Rick Rude there. You got the Eagle, Champ. Very detailed. Rick Rude. You got Rick Rude on the back, looking like Don the Predator Fry a little bit, or Hagar from that was a Final Fight game back in the day. Kind of has that look to him as well. U.S. Champ on the side, looking very nice. WCW United States Champion. Just a very, very ornate design here. And I believe, like I said earlier, I think Mattel said, hey, no robe with this one because there was so much detail in the tights, which I get, but man, give us the robe here. We just need Rick Rude. I can't think of Rick Rude without a robe. It's really weird. I would love to get one designed, or probably a third-party company, something like that. Maybe could get one going. But it would be nice to have one of these Rudes with a robe on, one with the robe off. Make them different as possible, as I did say earlier. He, of course, will fit on a Mattel ringside stand. Use discount code Kyle. Save yourself 10%. But there's the old ravishing one, Rick Rude. Got the regular version right here. Not too shabby. Very, very cool. And really a pick-em for me between the two. We'll see what happens. We're going to rank them here in a second. But there is the Sid, Sycho Sid, that is, variant. And then here is the Chase Edition Rick Rude. Now we got to bring the entire line together. We got to give our final thoughts on Legends Series 25. All right, time to get down to the set rankings in Legends Series 25, and as usual, this is going to be my list. Put your list in the comments down below. Start off at number 5, work your way to number 1, number 1 being your favorite in this set here. Not counting Sycho Sid as two separate ones, but I will tell you which one I do prefer when the time does come. But an interesting set, I would say. There's no huge anchor in this set that's like, oh, this is the best one. It's pretty close between all of these guys to who my favorite is. So it's a very cool, even set for the most part. A lot of cool stuff here, but also some quality issues across the board on this one, and some things that were forgotten, as we do know, dissecting these in each of their individual reviews. But a pretty tough set to rank, all in all, and really not a bad set outside of a few little tweaks, and we'll talk a little bit about that here in this very video. But let's kick it off. Let's start it off. Let's hit it at number 5. And number 5 for me, I'm going to go WCW Chase Rick Rude at number 5. A good figure. Once again, love me some Rick Rude, but it just feels weird with the world title belt on U.S. title belt pants. I wish they could have flip-flopped those belts and give us the U.S. title with this one. Wasn't meant to be, and I think the last one was good enough for me, but it is cool to get two different versions of Rick Rude, not Ric Flair, from his WCW time frame, so I do like that a whole lot. But man, oh man, really hurts this one for me without that tattoo. It just feels so wrong. I don't know. It's just such an iconic tattoo, and I think it's one of those things where you got a guy like CM Punk, you got arms of tattoos. You miss one, it's not the end of the world, even though the Pepsi one is a pretty big deal. But Rick Rude has no other tats except the big anchor on his arm. It is just criminal. This one was missed with that one. So a little bit rough. I'm going to put that at number 5. And then I guess I'll go this one number 4. That's usually what happens with these Chase ones. Put that one at number 4. I like this one. I prefer the regular over the chase. Love the new title belt. Love everything about this Rick Rude. Just missing that tattoo is just so criminal to me. And it's wild. But once again, you can get a water slide decal. There's places that do that. If you want to classy this one up and give him his anchor tattoo, you can get that done. But still, a great figure. Got to have this in your collection. But for me, number 5, number 4 in Ravishing Rick Rude. Which brings us to the number 3 spot right here. And you know what? I'm going to go Bret Hitman Hart. Bret takes a beating from Mattel. We understand that there. We hear it in every single comment I see in Facebook groups and message boards all the time. You can't get the head right. Can't get the head right. And I really feel at this point, it's people just piling on, just always saying that. Because this head and the last WrestleMania one, I don't think are that bad. Especially when you add the glasses to it. Really, to me, it looks like Bret Hart. If somebody hands me this, I know this is Bret Hart. Is it perfect? It is not. He seems to be one of those guys that they just can't get into plastic form for whatever reason. I know some people say the Hasbro is amazing. I don't think the Hasbro head is very good for Bret Hart. I didn't think it was very good when I was a kid. I really don't think it is good, very, very good right now. I still think the Jakks Class Superstars series did the best Bret Hart head sculpts to this day. But I don't know. Constant learning, constant improvement. We've had a lot of Bret Harts. You think they could get it a little bit better, but I do see improvement with this one. I get it. There's a lot of people that just absolutely hate it and refuse to buy this one because of it. It is what it is, I guess, at this point. He's coming in number 3 for me. Of course, Hitman on the back of the trunks. I heard it a million times in the comments. People are making the same comment left and right. It is accurate. It is accurate. Well, it's one of those things. You're doing the review. You look at it. You've seen it for the first time. And I do have a few other paint problems on the back of mine around Hitman. So it almost looks like it was forgotten out of there. But, of course, I looked it up as well to double check after my review. So I saw it just like you guys did. But it is correct on the back of the tights there for the Hitman. And the Hitman comes in at number 3, which means we got to get down to the end. We got the number 1 and number 2 selection. And I'm going to go, of course, right over here. Number 2, of course, and then number 1. No, I'm going to switch it around. I'm going to go Justin Hawk Bradshaw at number 2. Now, very criminal here in a lot of ways because on much like Rick Rude and his tattoo, all over the packaging they show Justin Hawk Bradshaw with the hat on. There is no hat in the package. For whatever reason, I thought there was going to be a hat. I'm not sure why it was left off. What? Todd McFarlane from the couch? Yes, probably money. It's always follow the money. We heard that from Jesse Ventura. We're hearing it again here today. But it just really sucks that a cowboy like this got to have his cowboy hat. That's what makes you a cowboy. So really criminal we missed out on this one. But there was an easy hack to do. And I've seen many people do it since. So shout out to everybody kind of thinking the same as me on this one here. But Mr. Perfect Kurt Hennig, more Kurt Hennig, I guess, in the WCW Monday Night Wars line just recently. Truly a 2-in-1 figure. You can have NWO Kurt Hennig. You can have Rap is Crap Kurt Hennig. So I had to buy 2 of those to display both looks. Well, NWO Kurt's not going to have the cowboy hat, and this is the identical cowboy hat that goes to Justin Hawk Bradshaw. So knowing they already had it, you think they could have put it in with this one. But for me, I'm usually not a custom fix-up guy, but I have this in a baggie. I said I might as well get my use out of it. And then 30 years from now when I sell my collection, hopefully I remember to take this hat and give it back to Kurt Hennig for when the time sells it happens. We'll see if that happens or not, but this is a perfect example. It is black. It has the same kind of ribbon around the top. Just an easy fix up, and if you're a big Kurt Hennig fan, you're going to buy 2 of that figure anyways to display both looks. You can get extra use out of the hat instead of sticking it in a baggie like I was. So works a lot with that, but a fabulous figure here. If it wasn't for the hat miss and the head sculpt, the face on this one just looks off. He looks just like somebody shot his dog. I wish there was a little bit more personality in this. Would have carried this to the number 1 spot. Very tight between these two, but just need a little more personality in the face. But love the Cody Rhodes bull rope going on here. Love the fringe jacket. And just a very fun one. Always fun to get a first time in the line figure, as you guys do know. But Sycho Sid going to be number 1 for me. No issues with Sycho Sid. He was the perfect figure of the bunch here. So he's got to go to number 1 if you ask me. And it is a great upgrade from the last one from about 50, 60, 70 series ago. What is Mattel Elite series. So very cool to get an updated version here. This is the perfect Sid from WrestleMania. The Winged Eagle always looking really good with this one. The vest, just a very good Sid figure. an amazing figure here, and he hit number 1 for me. Now, of course, we talked about it. There is the variant edition, I guess we'll call it. Really, it's pick your poison. When I think of Sid in blonde hair, I think of Sid Justice. I think of WCW. I think of this era more as the dark hair. So I'm going to prefer the dark hair, but I obviously picked up both. I don't think everybody out there is going to pick up both. Just depends which one you do prefer. And as I said, this one early on seems to be the online orders. This one seems to be in store. I think the waters will get a little murky down the road a little bit. But I do like the Sycho Sid, and a very fun one here. And unfortunately, Sid just recently passed away, so it is a nice fitting tribute to him as well, coming out in Legends 25. Would love to see an Ultimate Sid in the future, maybe the blue trunks, maybe something like that. We'll see what ends up happening in the future as far as that does go. But Sycho Sid going to be number 1 for me, and that wraps up Legends 25. Once again, you guys let me know in the comments below, what is your order? Let me know. It's always hard to do these ones, but this one pretty close, all things considered. But the quality issues here, no quality issues, really carried Sid to number 1 for me. But like I said, you tell me your thoughts in the comments down below. Don't forget to like this video. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Check out my Patreon, Pro Wrestling Tees, of course, SirPaul64 on the X, the _Kyle_Peterson on Threads, and on Instagram. So for Legends 25, Kyle, see you guys all real soon.